Welcome to Focus on Liberia, where we discuss everything Liberia. Today, our topic is Decision 2017, October 10, 2017, the Liberian election. With me, I have a guest. My name again is Yacindy Martin Peye. I'm sitting in for our host. I'm your guest host today for Mr. Dennis Jah, who has traveled to Liberia. Again, thank you for watching and welcome. I do have a guest with me, an independent analyst, Mr. Randolph Glee, who will be discussing with today in regards to our topic, Decision 2017. Where do we go from here as Liberian? We have topic, courage to lead, the economy, job creation, acumen, records, representatives in the decisions, and what to expect in the next year or the next turn, and who owns the land. Thank you for watching. Welcome, Mr. Glee.
Thank you so much, and let me take this time to acquaint myself with the listening audience by formally introducing myself. I am G. Randolph Glee from Liberia, and when you check the map of Liberia, I'm from Nimba County. And over the years, I've had the opportunity to work with the University of Liberia Student Union as the vice president, and I traveled to Savannah State. And I had the opportunity to serve as president for the master program and currently in a PhD program. So this is someone that came from the grassroots, and he understands what it takes to sell so many years down Water Street. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Glee, and we are glad to have you. And I understand you understand the political landscape of Liberia. Some of us have been out so long, but this particular election, I believe we are at a junction at this point. This will be a make or break, so to speak. So I believe that it's really important that we make the right decision at this point, that we make the decision not about us, this generation, but about the next generation, in short, for posterity. So I would like to get your view on, to just give us an analysis on all of our top 6 candidates, and that would be our sitting vice president, Mr. Boaka, our Mr. Bronsky, Mr. Ure, Dr. Mill Jones, Mr. Cummings, and Mr. Josh Weir.
All right, let me first of all thank you for bringing such a unique topic, and let me first of all start with the vice president. The vice president, Honorable Boaka, he's a very unique character, and I have followed him over the years, and he's one that stands for the truth. I follow him with the case of Nyan Martin, his decision on what stand he took, and he's somebody trusted and that we can rely on him as an individual. And over the years, I have followed his record from YMCA to how they call the agriculture ministry, and everywhere that he worked, LPMC, he left some mark. But this is where I have problem with the vice president when it comes to this election. Trust me, that's just my independent and candid view. He served as vice president for 12 years, and after the 12 years, he said that they had a lot of opportunities that was misused, that was squandered. That was the word he used. He said it was squandered. And so this time around, when he's given chance, he can do better. But he decided to form another team that would do better. And the team comprises of almost 85% of the group that work as the first branch of government. He has almost like 85% of the senator and the representative supporting him. And he got his vice running mate to be the speaker. And he got the former dean of cabinet, Augustine Peye Gafwan, as his campaign manager. So I'm thinking, what different mechanism will you put together when you stay saying that you guys squander opportunity, but you're still working with the same thing? So this is where I really have some difficult problem with accepting him that he will be able to make a change. But individually as a person, I trust him. He stands for the truth. But his chemistry, the kind of team he's building up now, is what I'm looking at.
Okay.
So the next person you said, Bronskin, right?
Will be Bronskin.
Okay. Bronskin. Bronskin is a very nice guy. He have had the opportunity to serve with Charles Taylor in the place, and he was then the pro temp, and he put a lot of issue. But this is where I'm yet to believe what Bronskin actually won. Bronskin had a political institution that was established years back. He went for the first election, the second election, and now the third election. You want to tell me over the years you have not prepared men to really take over? That just 2 days to election, you had another candidate that left another party and just joined your political institution by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, you're announcing as your running mate. So what happened to the whole institution? What happened to the whole structure? And now, this is not factual information. This is something that we hear from hearsay, that there was a handpick that was done by, quote unquote, the president influence. So if what they're saying from the unreliable sources that it was the president influence, then what independent decision will you make when you are elected president tomorrow? So I'm saying that Bronsky and others could be trusted, but for now, they are not really proving to us, especially to me, to really convince me that when you give them power tomorrow, they will take independent decision. So for Bronsky, I can tell you, I can trust him. I can trust him.
You ready? Shall we? Let's do like 2 minutes, bro.
Okay, he's a successful businessman. He have had the opportunity to put business together, even though we cannot squarely find out where he got his business from, where he got the money from to do the business. Because at the time when we saw Yue claiming a ladder, he was then serving as the head for Maritime on a chancellor regime, is where he turned to a multi-millionaire overnight and he got his money. And those guys who work along with Taylor, who supported Taylor in the regime, these are guys that we should not trust, especially when he's on the red line with the international community. How can you trust such men with leadership? We can't. He should not be trusted.
Dr. Jones?
Dr. Mill Jones. He called himself the poverty doctor. Poverty doctor. Dr. Mill Jones, when he took over the period of time at the central bank, those of you who had the time to study economics and other stuff, they said he did extremely well for us. That I agree. And I also benefited as a former student leader from the University of Liberia Student Union when he gave us $6 million for a scholarship. But I also question, what was the legality of that fund that he gave us? Was it part of the process, or you were just like using the money to gain popularity? Look, we need to be very serious in this place. He used the money, give it to market people to improve their life. But this money, the central bank money, it must be for every time even here when you give a loan up, there should be collateral that will make you to get back the money. He did not put that system into place. But not only he had a plan B to give the money out to become called poverty doctor. But since he left the bank, I'm yet to see the poverty doctor giving a loan. Okay. So that was just a scheme. Okay,
so we've covered JMB, CWB, Dr. Jones, Mr. Uri. I would like to talk about Mr. Weird and Mr. Cummings, because he's like the newer kid on the block. Let's talk about Mr. Weir for a second.
George Mane Weir, the celebrated soccer star. This brother, he reached his peak in the field of soccer. And I believe he's someone that years in, years out, the world can never do away with him because of his legacy. But this guy, 3 different times this guy have made trip out of Liberia running away from debate. If he cannot convince 200% what you want to do, why would you trust him with 4 million human beings? To sit in front of 200% and just give or explain your platform, you have run from it. Then why would you allow you to take care of 4 million human beings? George Weah as a person, he's a very good guy when it comes to his field. But leadership has its own pressure that one must really sit. Because you see, David, before David could conquer Goliath, he counted his many successes. So when the bear came, I destroyed it. When the lion came, I destroyed it. What's the trademark of this man that we can trust the whole nation into his hand? I can remember when I was still back in Liberia, there was a game that was played and Liberia was defeated, and there was a counter-claim that George Weah sold the game. And people started accusing him. He went over national radio and insulted a man. He said, what the Liberian people saying to my man. So if just football pressure can allow you to say such thing over radio, talk less about national pressure. George Weah should learn to cast a bucket to where he belongs, not national leadership.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's talk about Mr. Cummings. He's the newer person on the block. What is your analysis?
Mr. Cummings, interacted with him 2013 when I came here as a student leader, and we talked to him, and a lot of initiative he has done when it comes to Liberia, especially the youth community, with different programs that he has helped Coca-Cola to sponsor the Liberian people. And I'll continue to say, Cummings, his plan towards Liberia is one of the plans that I love, where you talk about empowering people. I love his plan and I love everything about him. But all that I can say, how many person knows about this plan? When I leave from here and get in floor and say something about Cummings, how many person will know about this? So I really love him as a person, and I love his structure, his campaign structure. According to information I received in Nimba, he's one that is visiting door to door, village to village, town to town, making the people to know him. And that's one of the best style of leadership when it comes to campaigning. So all that I can say, he's good. The information is he's making the way, but I believe it's too late. He started too late, but he's one of the candidates that I love because I believe in empowerment. Nobody can build that nation for us except us. But he started very late.
Thank you so much, Mr. Glee, for that analysis. If you're watching us, this is Focus on Liberia, our weekly program that focuses on Liberia. Everything about this show is about Liberia. We're talking Decision 2017, October 10. What is your choice? Your voice, your vote, or your vote is your voice? At this point, we would like to make this interactive show today. All of you out there, watch the screen, calling. We really would like to discuss. What's on your mind? What are you thinking? What do you know? Who's your candidate? What are you hoping for? What is the goal from here? Where do we go from here as a country, as people? Thank you for watching. And again, watch the screen and please call in and we can have this discussion. Moving forward, we will be discussing, I know you already analyzed some of the strengths and weaknesses of some of these candidates, how you look at them, where you think they bring with them. Now, let's talk about the economy for a second. The last debate was really intense, a little bit combative, if you ask me. We called, and it's a debate, so to speak. We call the candidates to come out to speak to us, to lay out their plan for the country, 4.some million people. Do you think, and I'm going to go back to Dr. Jones and Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings said that he could create 600,000 jobs. Dr. Jones said it was not possible because the government does not create jobs. So what is your take on that, Mr. Glee? I mean, you're from the grassroots. Yes.
The first thing that I can tell people, the government creates an enabling environment for what? For growth, okay. For employment. Let me say this. I sold Waterside for more than 5-6 years. And that's how I went to undergraduate and I took care of myself. But look at some of the policies. You say the government cannot give jobs. Government does create. They create it by creating an enabling environment where you can have time to work or do your business. When I was in Liberia, when you buy for 5 gallons, when you buy 5 gallons of oil, when you sell this particular gallons of oil, when you buy the 5 gallons of oil and sell this 5 gallons of oil, the only thing you're going to benefit as profit is the empty container.
Ooh.
It's the empty container. I'm giving you factual story. What you're going to benefit as profit will be the empty container. So when you see someone carrying like 25, 30 empty container of 5 gallons of oil, that's the profit of that. So meaning the structure and the business structure in Liberia is done such a way that the Lebanese and the top guys benefit. So those of us down the line, all we're going to do is just to sell for them. So the government should come up with policy. There's a reason why I'm so blessed to be to be in a class with policy. You do policy for 3 reasons. Policy is meant to.
Okay. 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 Can you speak? Go ahead and ask your question, please, Mr. Glee. Yeah. Question or comment?
My name is Daniel Gweg.
Mr. Gweg, hi. How are you? Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Okay, I'm great. And you?
I'm well, thank you. What is your question or comment, please?
Okay, my questions are directly go to the studio guest, Mr. Glee, who has been my classmate in the University of Liberia.
Okay.
Sitting here in Minnesota in my resident monitor of Canada, and try to give you an analysis,
Okay.
And I think from his analysis, he has adequately placed in the local category that if you look at it critically, none of them are qualified according to the analysis. So who do we trust? My question is, who do we trust now as a young Liberian? Who can we trust with our law to talk to our people back home that they can make a sound decision in the interest of Liberia?
Okay. So you wanna just me add a little bit before you talk?
I can answer it.
Okay, go ahead.
Comrade, thank you so much. You know, where we are now, we're trying to reach the stage that not actually trying to make, what I try to do is to give the strength and weaknesses of candidates. And I want us to open our mind, open our eyes of understanding to make decisions. I think I was very clear. I said there's a guy within a race that whatsoever that I want to see, I see him in such line, but he went there late. So if I will be recommending, I'll be recommending somebody who talks about empowerment of youth by creating what? A mini businesses. Man, I was back in Liberia. I sold down water and sent my son to JJ Roberts. You know what it takes to sponsor a child in Liberia, JJ Roberts. I was not working for government. The America that you see today that is greatly looking good, it's talk about individual empowerment, where you have a job to go and do, you do your business, and you become self-reliant, and you become a better man for tomorrow. So what I'm saying, I'm not denying everybody. Guys, they met the standard of the election commission, and they were all qualified. But I'm giving from my point of view, with those guys that are seeing, those that I know about, this is where I'm speaking from, comrade. So you can make your decision.
Is he still there? Sir, are you still there? Okay, he's not. So, is he? Okay. Sir, are you still there? Okay, great. So 1 second, let me ask Mr. Glee. Mr. Glee,
yeah.
The election is not over yet, but you conclude, okay, at least according to you, you like so far the track record of Mr. Cummings, right?
Yeah.
And you like his layout, his plan that he presented. You know of him, you heard of him, you had an opportunity to encounter him. Why are we saying that it's too late? Because the time you are here, you play a very major role in the University of Liberia, okay? He is asking you now. We are outlining everybody and say this person, that person, that person. But you say it's late. The election is not over yet. So he's asking, at this point, we are all here. If you had a choice at this point, who would you recommend? Or how many would you recommend? Where would be that? Just a recommendation. I'm not saying your decision here.
The question he asked, the question is very clear. He first said that I try to throw everyone away, and I said no. I try to give their strength and their weaknesses. And I said the person who have really touched my heart when it comes to his plan is Cummings. Because he talks about now what we need in Liberia is not just politicians, we need entrepreneurs. One that will empower, that will create that enabling environment for people to own the nation. Now, brother, whether you like it or not, we are completely on a systematic and organized slavery when it comes to business in Liberia.
Thank you, Mr. Glee. Sir, does that answer your question? We want to keep that to like a minute or two.
My question was somehow partly, let me say, partly answer, and I want to make a comment. I want to make a contribution. I don't know whether you have
Go ahead. You have a minute to make a contribution. Thank you.
Okay. So we in the diaspora say that the person is late, or maybe as what you can, it is late for this kind of candidate, I think what we need to do is that is required for me is more sensitization. We have to make our people to know by home that we, as YC, is a good candidate. We cannot sit here in the diaspora or on the bench and then if they are criticize, okay, analysis, I know the problem in Liberia, if they come to Liberia, people always say, where was he? And it is not possible that everybody, here in Liberia, when you want to declare and change or to become somebody, people go out there to grow, to become somebody who can represent their country, that's me. But you cannot have everybody in front of you like really and say, oh no, this person because the person come at what we can, let it know it is different. This person, no. That's a mistake we always make it. So I think that is my contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for that. So you're literally saying all of us need to get on the phone. We all need to work because we already know the acumen of this man. Thank you so much, and thank you for calling Focus on Liberia. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, and welcome back. We just have a contributor who came in from Minnesota to add up to our conversation. And again, if you're watching, we're Focused on Liberia. I am your guest host today, Cindy Martin Peye. I have a guest with me, an independent analyst, also from the University of Liberia, and a doctoral student here at the Clark Atlanta University, who came here on scholarship. So we will say he was also part of the political system in Liberia. Politics is actually born on the campus of the University of Liberia. So I'm sure he has the insight and have the ability to articulate just so to talk to the youth. And he's part of that movement, the generational change. Again, if you want to call us, please call us. We want to make this show today very interactive. Your contribution is very important to us. Call in and give us make a suggestion or ask a question and see. Let's have a conversation. Decision 2017 Liberia election, October 10th. Mr. Glee.
Yeah.
Let's talk about records and argument. Now analyzing everyone. Highlight at least 4 of these candidates that you think have the records, leadership records, and have the acumen or the ability to lead, or the courage to lead at this point where we are in our position or predicament as Liberian.
And first, I think we had a topic that we did not conclude when it comes to job creation that we were discussing.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was giving a vivid analysis how government can create an enabling environment with policy. And because now, let's take for example, Liberia now got a policy that before any car that you take into Liberia should not be more than 10 years. And there are a lot of tariff and everything on that. So because of that, they got a lot of cars now using the Guinea border, the Guinea entry, then they get into Liberia. When Ghanaians institutionalized that particular policy, when they had that policy as part of their policy, the reason Ghanaians were producing car. But you're not producing car. So what all of the hard tariff and all of the hard bill you put it on car? So government create job by putting policy that will attract investor into the country to invest. And I can tell you, if the government does not make law that suit investors, they will not be part of the process and they will not partake. So I can tell you for free that government create an enabling environment, good policy that will allow investors to invest into the place.
Thank you so much, Mr. Glee. At this time, it's time for break. We have to go to our sponsors and who speak for us and keep us live on TV or on the show. Again, if you're watching, this is Focus on Liberia, where we speak everything Liberia. Our show today is Decision 2017, October 10. Liberia will make a decision either to move forward or to stay where they are, or where we are. But the hope is we are at a crossroad that we will make the best possible decision. And this decision this time is not about us as an individual, but us as parents, as women. This decision is based on posterity. Decision 2017. We'll be right back. Thank you for watching Focus on Liberia, where we discuss everything Liberia. Our topic today, Decision 2017, Your Vote, Your Voice, Liberian Election, October 10, 2017. In the studio, we have a guest. I'm your guest host, Yasendi Martin Peye, sitting in for Mr. Dennis Jah. Mr. Dennis Jah is in Liberia at this point, transacting business. I do have with me today an independent analyst who is a former student of the University of Liberia and a scholarship student to the U.S., a doctoral candidate at Clark Atlanta University. And we do have a representative from the Cummings camp, Mr. Kamara Little. Mr. Kamara, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
We're back, and this is also Mr. Glee, an independent analyst. We're discussing courage to lead, the economy, acumen, records, job creation, representatives' decision to endorse, who owns the land. Thank you so much. We were discussing.
We got someone on the line with a question.
We do have someone on the line who has a question. Sir, will you go and announce yourself, please? Uh-oh.
I was just watching, your presentation right now, and what I just wanted to know is just concerning Mr. Cummings. I heard that people say he's the best one in a position to hold the position of president. But what I wanted to know, to be convinced, how will he? If he has a program, and what kind of program is that, and how will he finance this program, and also how can he just finance it without leaving debt on Liberia future generation?
Excuse me, can you be very clear and tell us actually what the question is? Are you saying how come he's going to run Liberia, or how he's going to finance his campaign?
Do you have a government plan?
Oh, you talk about his
Platform.
his platform, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the first one.
Okay.
The second one is what? How will you finance his program?
Oh, when he win as president?
Yeah. If you have a program of how he's going to rule the country, and how will he finance it without leaving debt for future generation?
Okay. Thank you, sir. If I understand you correctly, Mr. Cummings reviewed his platform, which meaning the things that he would do when he wins, right? So you want to understand how he's going to finance it to bring those to fruition. Two, you do not want him to leave the debt on the future generation, so you want to know the how and that. So we do have a representative in the studio at this point, and then we also have Mr. Glee here, who is a grad student. So I'm sure he has some insight on budget creation and strategic management and environmental effects. So let's talk, Mr. Kamara.
Yes, thank you for being on our show, sir. To give you a further information on Mr. Cummings, how you're going to form those programs and how without leaving debt on future generations. And some of the reasons why he has said it, that we have Liberia, we have natural resources, and those natural resources, most of them have not been used yet, and it has not even been explored yet. And this is the reason why Liberia is not developing, is because we are not putting the natural resources to a better use. And Mr. Cummings has said it that the natural resources, he's going to use the natural resources to advance the future in businesses, especially private sector. Private sector is going to be the most focused point on in our areas in terms of Mr. Cummings' administration. So I don't know exactly where you're going in terms of debt, but in terms of funding the Mr. Cummings' administrations, how the future generation are going to benefit is how he has said it, that infrastructures, and also to make sure to focus on private sector. Private sector is going to be the main points of Mr. Cummings' administration.
Mr. Glee, can you add to that, please? You have an addition, yeah?
Yeah, the first thing when it comes to government, what you see and people talk about called budget is not money laying somewhere that somebody going to use. They project to say, hey, look, when we looking at maritime, we believe that maritime will be able to bring like 4 million. And out of the 4 million that maritime will bring, we will use it for this. That's just projection. But to answer your question rightly, every nation live and depend on taxes from what? Businesses, head taxes. This is how government get the funding. But the reason why over the years Liberia have had a lot of situations, we got problem paying our taxes. Why would you allow me stay in the queue for almost 4 or 5 hours to go pay my tax? So you think I would like to pay? No. Let a system, if Cummings want to really raise or what he talks about, he should be able to create a free flow system that you can pay your taxes in short time. And when it comes to that, that will help. So to just answer your question, nobody use their private funding. Nobody use their private funding to support the system as president. No. You use government taxes and the money generated by government from other sources to run the government. So all that, it is not how he's going to do it, but he should be able to curtail corruption. Then he will be able to actualize what he's planning.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Glee. Now, so Mr. Kamara, you were in here earlier, and welcome to the show. You were here. We were waiting for your turn to come on. Mr. Kamara, you're the only one. Speak to the people. We should have had other representatives here. We wanted to have equal representation so everyone can be able to express and speak on behalf of their candidate, but some of the people have family issue and could not make it. So those of you, if you're out there, you're watching, you can also call in. We want to make this as interactive as possible. We have another caller online. Okay. We're asking if you're there to call in. Call in with your... Thank you for calling Focus on Liberia. This is your Sandy. How may I help you?
Mrs. Ya, this is Isaac Settle.
Mr. Setcho, welcome to Focus on Liberia. How may we help you? Please lower your background noise. Your background noise is loud.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment on the topical issue today.
It's still really loud, Mr. Setcho. Will you lower your background noise, please? Okay. We're all ears. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, sir. We're listening.
Yeah, I think the topic is interesting, and as we are 10 or 11 days from the election, it's very crucial the Liberian people vote right.
Correct.
I'm a member of the United People's Party. My party is in the race. But one of the focus points I'm looking at is the level of tolerance in the political debate.
Okay.
We are seeing people are getting intense. People are trying to canvass for their candidate or want our fellow Liberian to be safer. Because at the end of the day, we need to bring the country together. Politics is about the future, and we must begin the process where party leaders will start talking to each other, because there may be a second round if no party wins the first round on the ballot. So we need to talk to each other, we need to debate the issue, but we must put Liberia first, so that at the end of the election we can have a peaceful country and improve the life of the Liberian people. I want to thank our host, Yasini, and the other panelists, Mr. Glee and Mr. Kamara, for discussing the issue facing our country as we go towards the October 10 election.
Thank you so much, Mr. Setro. We really appreciate that. And people out there, that was a really, really important message to all of us. After the election, we are still a community of people. The election will come and go, but there will be time to leave. And you will need everyone else to be a part of the community. So if one asks you, even if you disagree or not, please, maybe they're asking to be educated. Your job for your candidate is to convince the next person to come on your team, not to abuse them or drop them off. So let's be civil, let's have intellectual discussion. I think it would take us all a very long way. Thank you for that call, Mr. Setro. Really appreciate that. Again, you're watching Focus on Liberia, where we discuss everything Liberia. This is Decision 2017, October 10 elections. The decision is yours. Your vote, your voice, Liberian. So, Mr. Kamara, back to you.
Yes.
Mr. Kamara, yes? Go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much for welcoming me back here, and it's my pleasure coming back. But like the gentleman was saying earlier, this election is very crucial and a very important election. Whenever we have a transition, after 12 years, it's very important that whoever comes over do the right things and also follow up on whatever was left over. And we all here today telling you what is most important is Mr. Cummings is our agenda, and we're here to tell you our candidate is the best out of all these people, and he's the best because Mr. Cummings has proven the Cummings Foundation has done more than any other of these candidates foundation has ever done, and we have the track record. Mr. Cummings macro loan, almost 60,000 of macro loan has been given to business women and around Liberia, and a lot of business women has been calling in and thanking Mr. Cummings, even on my show. And I want to appreciate that, Mr. Cummings, for that, and also Mr. Cummings, the STEM, the Science Education Program, which has given thousands of opportunity to young girls and boys in Liberia, and almost go over 5,000 has been spent on that program, and we also have the record to prove that. So it bothers me when people say Mr. Cummings just coming, and first they will say, oh, what is Mr. Cummings have done for Liberia? Then we show them proof. Now they ask for again, Mr. Cummings just coming. Well, you asked for the first one. We gave you proof. We gave you the evidence. Now you say, oh, Mr. Cummings is just coming. Then he just wait for 2023. He cannot wait for 2023. If it's the Met time, it's the Met time. So we are telling you all, ladies and gentlemen, we have almost 10 days left on this election day. It's very crucial for every one of us, and for us to have a better Liberia, and for us to move forward to a better days. We should vote for Mr. Cummings.
Thank you, Mr. Kamara.
Mr. Cummings is the best.
Thank you. Mr. Glee, I want to play a balance of field here, because you spoke of all of these, and I was saying to you, given the decision, okay, let's not eliminate any turn here. If you had a choice to make at this point, okay, because, and let's go there. Voting is a duty. It is not a right. It is your responsibility. Whether you go and actually cast a vote or not, it will be cast for you indirectly. If you stay away, you take a vote away from somebody. If you go, you make a decision. The best thing to do is to make a decision. So we have 6 people named up here. If you had a decision to make, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put in an awkward position.
I'm a political group.
Okay. So where would you be heading? First, second, and third? I have 6 names.
The first thing, I would like to thank Brother Setro, who just called, and he made mention of being civil in the process. We experienced a lot of issues between Liberty Party and CDC in Nimba, and later we have CDC, and we have the problem with CDC and Unity Party in Monrovia. So I believe, let us be very careful and put our nation first, because there is a likelihood that we'll have second round if we run the Trump kind of government. I mean the Trump kind of election. You know what Trump election is? Where you just insult everybody and talk negative about everybody. So all his 100 days in office, he just having claims and counter claims. What am I saying? Second round, you will need the politician or the political institution that you've been denigrating over the years or over the months. So you need to be very saver, that at the end of the day, you can put hands together and come up with what? One leader. That chair, we got only one seat. Only one person will sit there. So at the end of the day, on the 11th, the result will all be out. And what we've been seeing will just be another game. So we need to be very saver, especially the youth. Like on Facebook, people gone personal, insulting family. Like a very young man who went to school here, he took the picture of Joe Howard Taylor's son, who is now suffering from addiction, and post the guy and his mother picture on Facebook and trying to talk against the guy. Addiction is a disease. It is a problem of our generation. It's something that you should be finding way doing research to see how you can help the person. It's not to bring them to popularity. It's not good. So let us be very stable. At the end of the day, the election will be over. And guys, you're really looking at that they're not saying anything, they're not talking, they'll be the first group to be having job. Because it will all be about our qualification and competency. Now, how many persons you insulted that will give you a job? No. The men you insulted today could be your job. So back to your question. I said, and I remain very, very firm on this, that none of the guys have lived up to my expectation that I can give them a vote. But if I'm individually as Randolph, if I'm called to go to the poll, I'm not going to vote for any of them. But with what I do see for now, with the kind of mind, with the platform that I see, all of my brothers back home make independent decisions based on all that I've analyzed from the beginning. That in order for Liberia to make it what it is now, we need someone who will improve our nation when it comes to being an entrepreneur. And Cummings is the guy who is doing that. Those of you that have the time to vote and you want to see the development of Liberia, you can go in that direction.
And thank you so much to Washington. We do not have much time. We have 3 minutes to go. It has been real. We have a lot of topic to cover. We will talk about one more thing, and then we will call that a day, and then I will give my closing statement to our public. But I would like to talk about this really shortly, Mr. Glee and Mr. Kamara. As far as we're concerned, the representatives or the lawmaker represents certain constituents in our community, meaning our people or sector of the people. Notwithstanding, some of the representatives have gone ahead and endorsed certain candidate. What is your thought on that as a community? Mr. Kamara, let me start with you. 2 minutes, please.
Well,
In fact, a minute, because we have 3, yeah.
All right. I mean, it's interesting, and it also is motivating, which we like, and we're getting the messages. Our message is going out there. Our message is very clear, and we are getting the messages, which is that, like even yesterday we have a few move from Mel Jones camp that joined us, which was very appreciated, and that shows us that we are doing what is right for Liberia, and we are on the right path.
And sorry, Mr. Kamara, I'm speaking in regards to the House of Senate, our House representative, not individual, the lawmakers. That's what I'm speaking to.
Okay,
Yes.
That's good. As far as for the lawmakers, really, to be honest, we really do not really base our focus on them, whether they join us or not, because we're trying to be as persistent and as independent as we can, which means that when we say independent, not independent stay neutral, but we mean that we don't try to involve with the same unity party that we all complain about and then try to get some of their endorsement. That's not what we really.
Thank you so much, Mr. Glee. Your analysis on that?
I believe that all of the representatives and the senator that find themselves in that particular zone, they are in error. And the error is very simple. You are elected by a group of people. And if you're making any decision, it's no longer about you. It's about the people you're representing. They need to go back to their constituents and have a meeting with them and say, look, this is where we have reached at the crossroad. I want to take the decision. In Liberia, for every time you hear interest, it's all about them, their wives, and their children, not the people that elected them. So all of them have just took that decision without consulting the group of people that elected them. They are in error. That's why I said these are just group of what? Systematic, greedy politicians. And all you can do is just to trash them out. And that's what's going to happen 9 days from now.
Thank you, Mr. Glee, for your analysis, and thank you for being with us. Mr. Kamara, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. If you're watching, thank you for watching. This is Focus on Liberia, where we talk everything Liberia. I am your guest host, Yasendi Martin Peye. I am sitting in for Mr. Dennis John, who has traveled to Liberia. Now, in closure, all my fellow Liberians, even in the diaspora, we are part of the community. We're part of our country. We contribute 32% of the GDP. We made over $350 million a year. We are performing our civic duty. So I would say to you, call home whoever you think that you choose. Your vote is your voice. Make a conscious decision. Use your heart. Think about your children. Let us not be the Esau generation. Let us not eat for today and not live for tomorrow. Go out, vote. It is your voice. It is your duty. It is not a right. Thank you for watching. This is Focus on Liberia. Again, I'm your host, Yasendi Martin. Thank you.